What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. I have the Subaru engine behind me and we're going to do some measuring. So as you can see, I have the case halves right here. We're going to be measuring the cylinder bores and then also measuring the cams and the crank just to make sure that everything is good. After I get these done, I can decide which pistons I want to order and get them on the way and see if I have to do machining. This cylinder 2 looks like it has kind of some rust in it, so I might have to do a little overbore, maybe 10 thousandths over or something. We'll see what everything looks like. Maybe it'll be good with just some honing. So first thing first, before you can do anything, any type of engine measuring, you have to have a way to find out the specifications. Here I have a Jilton manual where it has all the information. So here we have general engine specifications, valve, and it goes through camshafts, crankshafts, and everything. So before you do any time measuring on an engine, find specifications. So before I can measure the bore, I need to find out what the bore is. So we go to the SVX, start in 92, and here we have the bore is 3.82 inches. So then we come over to our handy dandy micrometer. This is a 3 to 4 inch micrometer. So then we set this to the bore specification. We'll be right there. Line it up, lock it. Okay, that is our reference point. Then we come over to our bore gauge. So to set up your bore gauge, you're going to take the attachments that it gives you and you're going to make it so the length is just over the specification. So I know the cylinder bore is 3.82 inches. So I took the 3.8 as well as a spacer and attached to the bottom here. So you have to remember that this isn't measuring length, it is measuring the distance of a specific measurement. So then I'll come over here to my micrometer. You'll take it and set it into here. And move it up and down, and as you see it moves, so does the needle up here. Sorry, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. So I moved the camera so that you can hopefully see a little better. Okay, see how the needle's moving? So you take the ring and turn it so it stops right at the 0. That looks good. And that tells you that wherever 0 is on here is the perfect length down here. So anything, so while you're measuring the bore, anything to the left of that 0 is larger and anything to the right is smaller than the bore specification. Let's go over to the block and see. So when you are measuring a cylinder, there are really two things that you are trying to get, and that is the out of round of the cylinder. Since the piston is on a pin, it can move up and down a little bit, and since that can happen, the cylinders can wear a little bit unevenly back and forth here. So that is the out of round. And then since the piston is sliding in and out, it's going to be wearing the cylinders in that motion as well, and we call that the taper. So you want to measure in 3 different places on the cylinder, top and bottom. So if I measure this way, I'll measure the top here as well as the bottom here. The difference between the top and bottom is your taper, and then with your other 2 measurements, you'll do top and bottom, wherever, and then the difference in the total lengths are your out of round. So I have the first cylinder done. See if I can explain this madness to you. So I found the taper limit and out of round limits. That is 2/1000 on both of those. So here we have the measurements from the top of the cylinder in 3 different places around. Then the bottom. Once you get those, you can take the difference between the top and the bottom on all these. And here, my biggest taper was 1/10 of a thousand. And then my biggest out of round I got from taking the largest distance between these numbers, which was 0.001. And then here was 0.0002. So that is my biggest out of round. And then by getting your actual bore, you take your bore specification and subtract it from your largest number altogether, which would be 0.000 or 0016. Or you add it. So 3.18 plus your largest number, and that gets you your actual bore. So you do that to all of your cylinders. So I got all the cylinders all measured out. Everything's looking pretty good. Largest out of round is 0.4 of a thousandth. And largest taper, I believe, is just 2/10 of a thousand. So it's pretty good. So now let's move on to measuring the crankshaft. So I moved over here to my little cubby. So I have the specifications. The journal bearings are supposed to have a measurement from 2.3619 to 2.3625. So you have a 6/10,000th tolerance. I just measured this first one here, and I came out to 2.3619, which is right on the dot. So I'm gonna go through and do the last 6. So everything got everything measured on the crankshaft. took the connecting rods off while I was at it. It's looking like we might be doing oversized bearings on everything here. Either that or I might just get a new crankshaft, depending on how cheap I can get one and things like that. So let's move on to the camshafts and see what we have going on here. So for the cams, we have two measurements, or two different kinds of measurements. So this front journal is bigger than these other three are the same size. So you have two measurements to worry about, and then you have the right head exhaust, right head intake, left exhaust, left intake. So got all the camshafts measured. Everything looked really good within spec except for one, which is this right intake cam. Pretty much just that one journal was too thin. So I'll either try and I'll look at my other engine when I pull it and see what that one looks like, or I might have to get another one. But yeah, that's all. I think that's all I need to make a decision on which pistons and stuff to order. So I'll just go do a bunch of research and figure out what I want to do. Alright guys, I have everything measured and I've gone over everything, and I have figured out somewhat of a game plan of what I need to do with this engine build. To start off, we'll start off with the crankshaft. There are a few journal bearings on the connecting rods and the main bearings that are below spec, which means that I will have the crankshaft shaved down, and then I'll order thicker bearings to make up for that. So that is the crankshaft. The pistons, I ordered some pistons, I'm not going to tell you yet, but I just went 20 thou over spec, and then once I get them, I will send them to the machine shop and they will bore the cylinders to the spec that is perfect. I have fresh cylinder walls and I won't have anything to worry about there. And then with the cams, there was only one cam that was out of spec, one journal that was out of spec on one cam. So I'm either going to check my other cam and my other engine and see how that one looks, or I might have to send them off and get a regrind. And if I'm doing that, I might as well do a turbo grind for them with more aggressive lobes. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, so I have pistons and connecting rods ordered. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I will show you when they get here. So I will update you guys when those come in. But I think I'm going to end this video here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the people who continuously watch. It means a lot to me. If you haven't yet, subscribe so you can know when new videos come out. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.